Wednesday night was magical for both Pitt and Syracuse. The Orange shut down Miami in a 15-point romp at the Carrier Dome. The Panthers survived an emotional overtime slugfest with number 11 Virginia. Today, they clash in the first half of an ACC doubleheader on the ACC network. Positively balmy here in central New York for our matchup today in Syracuse. Tyler Lydon will be on display. You'll see Jamel Artis and Michael Young, two outstanding stars for this Pittsburgh team, as the Panthers, who have owned the Qs recently, come in to take on the Orange, who are in desperate need of continuing their role after their win the other night. Hello, everyone. Tim Brando by my side is the G-Man Mike Jaminski, who was on hand for that game with Miami. A victory that was much needed for Jim Boeheim, but this is a club that he's playing now that has a new coach but old players that have really done in the Qs.
Well, it's the first year of the Kevin Stallings era, who takes over for Jamie Dixon, but this team visually looks like a Jamie Dixon team, and they've won 5 straight. They know how to win in this building, Tim, and they've got the 2 top scorers in the ACC in Artis and Young.
It should be a lot of fun. We really look forward to having it for you. It is Syracuse looking for win number 2 in the Atlantic Coast Conference against the Panthers, who know how to score high-flying baskets on hand as we begin our ACC day.
We'll need you guys to redo all that work.
Oh, that's not good, no.
Whatever it takes. We're really running into some issues here.
What? What? Yeah! Can you believe this?
You know you're not on mute, right?
How to go live if you're not an athlete, but today, you're a winner. Hey, how's your team doing? And by your team, we mean the team whose jersey you own. Good enough for us, because a win's a win. You know what else a win is? A chance to revel in the victory. So pull out your phone, hit this, then this, and go live. Look, this is a big win for you. And now, whether they knew it or not, it's a big win for your friends too.
ACC basketball is being brought to you by Food Lion, raising standards without raising prices. How refreshing. By New York Life, with the right guidance, everyone can be good at life. And by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Let it snow, and let's play some ACC basketball. The first of 3 that the ACC network will have. 2 games coming up that many of you will see in different areas as you look at our Food Lion starting lineups. Horace Johnson, Jones, Young, Jeter, White III, along with Gillen, Battle, Lydon, and Corian Thompson for Syracuse. This is the 5th different starting lineup, and Mike, they'd like to think that the other night when you and Wes Durham were here, that this young man right here, John Gillen, the transfer from Colorado State, could be the answer at the point.
Well, they moved Corian Thompson in 2 games ago, and then Gillen last game. And by the last game against Miami, it was by far their best offensive output, Tim, of the year so far. So I think, the one thing that Jim Boeheim does not like is a lot of change. Last year, they had the same starting lineup for all 37 games in their run to the Final Four.
This is the 5th that they've had this season. They've run away some disruption with the defense. And the scrum with Jones on top of it, but the arrow going the other way after the tie ball, so the Orange will have it. Our officials for today's game, Lee Cassill, along with Mike Eads, the veteran, and Brian O'Connell.
That's what the problem that they had early in the year, Tim, was at the front of that zone, they were all new guys, and they were, come from, being used to playing in man-to-man concept. So it was a real radical change for them, but I think they're settling in now. That was a great initial start defensively.
Now the makeup of the team now with graduate transfers, part of it, takes a little time. Plus the back line missing maybe that long type of defender like a Chukwu who's out with the damaged retina. Lydon would have counted had it gone off an initial pass from Thompson that was pretty good.
Don't work that high-low play, and it was a pretty good throw over the top. You see, Lydon gave himself enough room inside to make that catch, and he's got a little bit of a size advantage over Jeter, and this is what he took advantage of against Miami the other night. If they put a taller cover on him, he'll go outside and work more on the perimeter.
Yeah, that classic pick and pop move of his, right?
Yep. Then look for defensively, look for Pitt to do a lot of switching in those type of screen roll situations.
Hall of Famer Jim Boeheim knows how important this game is. At practice yesterday, you could see and feel the intensity. After 6 losses and one at home to St. John's by 33 that brought out the Boo Birds, it's time for the Qs to get on track. Young can't get it to go from the elbow. It's taken down by Andrew White. Where's number 3? Because he is the third. Hardest now is checking Leiden, fronting him. A lot of switching in Kevin Stallings' defensive deployment.
Well, that's right. And also, if Leiden continues to work inside, they're going to be forced to double team him.
Battle, who has an outstanding future, needs to be playing like a big-time freshman right now for this Orange team that has at times struggled to score.
Now look for they've got Michael Young working in the top of that zone, right up the free throw line. They're going to try to get him as many touches as he can.
It all starts right there. Cameron Johnson can't get it to go. Andrew White brings it down, gets it into the hands of Gillen.
Well, Johnson and Artis are their two main, their main three-point shooters.
Gillen is an outstanding sharpshooter. Took that one from deep and went crying off the front iron. But he is a scorer, no question about it. And they need him to do a lot of that from the point position. That's the flash right there to the center of that zone. Doesn't go for Jeter. Outlet to Artis off the recycle. Jeter on the glass.
Well, that's the thing that what Kevin Stallings tells us about offensive rebounding against this zone. There's going to be some misses. Sometimes it's tough to get blockouts. And they had a huge advantage on the glass against Virginia in that win.
Took 2.5 minutes to scratch, but the Panthers have, and we're tied. Thompson pumps, rams it home.
I still think that if you're Kevin Stallings, you're going to settle for Torrey Thompson taking a long jump shot like that. He knocks down, shoots 55%, but much closer.
Well, how about that? Young with a beautiful find. Once that entry got into the middle of the zone to Jeter, and he flushed it.
Yeah, and I did the St. John's game. They had some success along the baseline against that zone, but that's the versatility of Michael Young being able not only to score but make plays.
That one stripped away. Nice defensive work by Young. Numbers, Michael Young couldn't get it to go, but again, lots of activity on the glass. Pulled out of there by White. Length of the floor to Leiden. Well, there's a 4-point swing. Panthers were not balanced after having guys crashing the glass.
Boy, and you would think that Michael Young would make that play and just missed an easy layup, and then a nice play by White to strip the ball away and kick out to start the break.
There were 3 Panthers around the rim and could not get back defensively. Good ball movement. Artis is going to be fouled. Took it right into the chest of White. Both teams with counter punches, but that's how you go against the Syracuse zone. That's carving it apart, really. But a 4-point swing, and on the outlet, Leiden lights it up again.
We're led to believe every 6 seconds, so Domino's pizza lovers' dreams are dashed by one Sally Soul Snatcher in the group who wants a salad instead.
Eat a pizza once in a while. Luckily, we love pizza so much, we're introducing salads to our menu. So nobody can veto pizza night. So tell those lettuce lovers, listen up. There's no reason to ruin pizza night now.
Order a medium 2-topping pizza and a delicious Domino's salad for only $5.99 each.
Pizza's good.
Men need to prepare themselves. Nivea Men Cream. Super fast absorbing and non-greasy. Nivea makes you feel good in your skin. Nivea Men Cream. Crafted just for you. Nivea Men. It starts with you. Get your free sample at NiveaMenUSA.com.
Coverage here on the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports, also streaming live now on the ACC.com and on the official ACC mobile app. And Mike, let's get our Carolina 4 keys to the game.
Well, we've already seen it. Pitt offensive rebounding. They thought that was going to be a big key against the Syracuse zone to get second chance points. And for Syracuse, continue the momentum that they built against Miami and off to a quick start here, shooting 2 of 4. They shot 57% in that game against the Hurricanes.
After the foul, going to break, Jamel Artis at the free throw line. 70% on the season. He's had to make a little bit of a position change with Jamie Dixon's exit and Kevin Stallings taking over. But we visited with Kevin earlier, and he said, our guys are getting used to me. I'm getting used to them.
More so, the loss of Chris Robinson would have been a 4-year starter there at point. So they got, Jamie Dixon got spoiled, but Artis playing the role of point forward really in this offense.
They rely so heavily on those two guys, Artis and Young, to score. Gillen, beautiful blow by, leads to an open three. That was just a thing of beauty on the drive and draw to tie us down.
Well, what happened? We talked about the switch. He had Young in front of him.
Nice defensive work by Roberson into the game. The enigmatic power forward played well against Miami, and Boeheim needs to see more of it from him today.
Well, they're really better defensively with him in the game.
Gillen with icicles coming down off that tray. 12-6 Syracuse.
Yeah, I think, both ends of the floor, he's really been a terrific addition in the starting unit. I would be surprised if this wasn't, if the starters in this game weren't the same all year.
Shot clock down to 7. Jones needs help, finds it on the perimeter. Won't fall for Artis. A loose ball foul goes against Pittsburgh. Cheater going after it, picked it up.
Well, this is just, again, the mismatch there. He draws everybody to him, and that's a wide open jump shot, but a really terrific find. It's just a familiarity with the offense, and then he has the ability to spread the floor.
The second foul on Jeter, so he's forced to sit. And that gets Ryan Luther, number 4, the junior, into the game for Pittsburgh for the first time.
This is a big part of the Virginia win coming off the bench. He gives them some energy, some size. Doesn't do anything great, but a lot of things really well.
Roberson lobs it into Leiden. Brought it down, but managed to get back up with a jump hook. He's only scratching the surface, Mike.
He was out here early with assistant coach Adrian Autry, and they were working on that jump hook from both sides, and it's near and dear to my heart, as you would imagine. But he was the first guy out here shooting.
Jones, very strong, going to the left hand to get the layup, but it's 14-8.
The three-point shot hasn't been there for him. 2 of 17 on the year, and he was good early in his career, but that's a strong move inside.
This veteran graduate transfer, Gillen, might be exactly what Boeheim needed, distributing the ball. And you see now the open jumpers falling as Andrew White gets one to go.
This is the end of the floor that Kevin Stallings said they need to improve and buy into. It's a different defensive style, but we've got to be better.
Now Leiden deflected that one. Another turnover for Pitt. The orange lead is 9, 7 minutes gone by. That was a tough pass to make in close quarters that time, leading to a turnover. Luther got involved.
And that's exactly the type of play that Luther makes. He's the typical blue-collar guy, Pittsburgh guy, and gets the turnover, gets on the floor, and gets the ball for his team.
Cameron Johnson. Luther keeping it alive. Along with Jones, Jackson's deflected and rejected by Roberson.
They're just so active.
Doesn't go, but that's what you want to see more of, really, from Leiden. An ability to say, yeah, I'm going to start taking this game over.
Well, he took only 2 shots in the first half against Miami. He was much more aggressive in the second half.
Roberson clears it for Syracuse. You might say that that was a step or so outside Leiden's range, but again, that aggressive nature is what Boeheim wants to see. Right over Cameron Johnson in a timeout Pitt. Listen to the crowd here at the Juice.
This is what the versatility of Tyler Light is. And then the White, he got them off to the quick start against Miami.
When I first started working with Capital One, my dad called them up and asked for the Jennifer Garner card, which is such a dad thing to do. After he gave his name, the woman from Capital One said, "Mr. Garner, are you related to Jennifer?" kind of joking with him. And my dad was so proud to tell her, "As a matter of fact, she is my middle daughter." So now Dad has the venture card, he's earning his double miles, and he made a friend of the company.
Can I say it?
Go ahead.
What's in your wallet?
Nice job, Dad.
These seats aren't just for watching the game. They're for participating in it. Like the exit row on an airplane, sitting here carries great responsibility. Here, my 6 men and women, every action is a distraction. So when the other team goes to the line, make some noise. Annoy, like your season depends on it. Because it just might.
Well, innovative play brought to you by Progressive Insurance, your first round draft pick for car insurance.
And we're going to feature Andrew White here and how they get him open. They'll set a lot of screens. You see the one screen for Gill at the top, and then Roberson diving down. And White really gave them a lot of confidence against Miami early in that game. And, then he did just a lack of respect right here. A breakdown defensively. You see two guys on live, and he gets to put his finger up in the air, see which way the wind is coming from, and knock down that shot.
On Wednesday against Miami, and again, we've seen a carry-through, I think, and some momentum from that performance in the early going, the first 8 minutes of today's game against a red-hot Pitt team. Kevin Stallings in his first year, 56 years of age, and a great address change, really, for him, and in many respects for Jamie Dixon as well. Went back to his alma mater at TCU. There's another pick. This one by Battle. A little aggressive that time, an anticipation pass, a little too hard into the face of Gillen, and it's out of bounds.
And both of them really in this kind of the same situation, Tim, with Jamie Dixon at Pitt and Kevin at Vanderbilt. Both very successful
16,
runs.
17 years.
Yeah, and you got to think that, for the heartstrings tugging at, for Jamie Dixon at his alma mater.
They've got brand new facilities there. It was a good time for him to go. And for Kevin, gosh, he's got his son now called up on Father's Day of last year to the Pittsburgh Pirates from AAA Indianapolis. So a good time to be near home, and there's a push underneath.
Ryan Luther getting the call on that play. It was very obvious.
Number one on Ryan. Jeter is sitting with 2. The reason why he is in the game. And Pitt not having any good fortune from the perimeter. Artis is yet to scratch. Jeter got the 2 buckets on the offensive boards, really. Battle again.
And that's about, Johnson played that as well as he could. But, they're just ties down a bit. He's 43% from downtown. They're just seeing a big basket right now.
This is now a 14-2 run. That just went 17-2 after that 3-ball. Now the trap. And this is what makes the Syracuse zone so good. It's so athletic, and they trap out of it. Young, and deflected by Roberson. I think the Orange got the memo, both in the Miami game and in yesterday's practice. We could see it.
Well, and I think what happened to him is, the Christmas break really couldn't have come at a better time. They got some time to work, and I think they finally figured out that lineup, and especially the starting lineup.
Leiden giving it back up to Gillen. Those two working a little 2-man game here. Shot clock under 10. Roberson with the offensive rebound.
With that switching, they've had Michael Young on Gillen a lot, like right now, and he's been able to break him down, giving him a little bit of room.
Smooth. Beautifully done by White and well read by Gillen.
Well, what happened there is the 2 3-point shots he hit, Tim, set that up. You've got to come out and overplay, and he just made a nice back cut.
This is now a 19-2 spurt in under 6 minutes. Pitt in desperate need of a hoop. Syracuse continues to turn them over. Roberson clears it again.
This is a very frustrated offensive unit on that end of the floor for Pitt right now.
This guy's feeling it. Oh, yeah, he is feeling it. Battle tested early today at the Carrier Dome.
I'll tell you what, when this team is shooting lights out, they're going to be a tough out. Even Jim Boeheim up and animated on that play. You don't see that very often.
And he knew, you could feel it here at yesterday's practice. There was a palpable tension in the air. This game means everything. Even though it's early in the season, Mike, they've been drugged 6 times, lost by 33 to St. John's, an old Big East rival. They were booed off the floor at halftime of that game. And now with what's ahead in the ACC, they can't afford to lose. And here's Pitt with another shot clock violation. The Orange absolutely dominating on this end of the floor.
Yeah, that's they've got a freshman out there now in Cathcart, and it's his responsibility to know the shot clock in that situation. But the crowd's in a frenzy right now, and this team is feeding off its defense and its offense.
It's very early, but the lead is significant. It's up to 20. Well, this time White unable to get it to go. Quickly, Cathcart just into the game, as you mentioned, throws it away. And the turnover problem continues. 7 of them now for Pittsburgh. And that's far too many for this usually very efficient Panthers offense. And Sheldon Jeter will have to get back onto the floor. Young, who's been stymied, the senior from Duquesne, Pennsylvania, sits down.
Tim Stallings putting Jonathan Milligan in the game as a 3-point threat against the zone. He's looking for a combination that can work and click out there.
It could be worse if Syracuse were scoring more off the turnovers. They created a lot, but they've only scored 7 off the 7 created. Leiden, well, you just love his dexterity, versatility. Roberson kept up a lot. He's been the Energizer bunny down there. Leiden again. Bingo! Bango! Bongo!
So you got those are the rebounds that you got to come up with, and a good tap out, and again, the versatility of Tyler Leiden on display right there.
Well, with Young out of the game, there's another one. The freshman Milligan turns it over. The redshirt junior with an extra step from rural New York. Tyler Leiden. So solid in so many ways. Just on the cusp of greatness. And the Orange blowing out Pitt early on.
Back then, turn out the what with me.
It isn't always easy to know where you stand financially. Multiple accounts, investments, insurance. At Northwestern Mutual, we help you see your whole picture. Find out what you truly want, and we design a plan to go get it. We help you live life differently.
It's just a cough.
If you could see your cough, you'd see just how far it can spread. Robitussin DM Max is now better tasting with the same fast, powerful cough relief. Robitussin DM Max, because it's never just a cough.
Mike Jaminski, let's take a look at our Haviland defensive shield. And yeah, even with the struggles that Syracuse has had, they lead the ACC in steals per game. One of the top ranked in the NCAA. in total, and we've seen that on display so far today.
Yeah, right. Well, the top of that zone has been really active, and Gillen has kind of led the way in energizing that team, but everybody kind of getting into it. It's highest battle, and just 8 turnovers early in this game for Pitt, 10 points as a result of it for the Orange.
Jeter checked back into the game. He's playing with 2 fouls. Young remains on the bench. So Artis is going to have to get warm for Pittsburgh, and soon, or this thing could get really ugly before halftime.
Now Kevin Stallings going a little zone. Trying to calm things down, but he doesn't.
Boy, Gillen with a little wolfing after the 3 ball for the Pittsburgh bench, and the lead catapults to 26.
This is a team that dropped 88 on Virginia just the last game, Tim, and it was overtime game, but still.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, foul going for an aggressive play by Gillen, his first. They just have not gotten anything to fall from the perimeter at all. And you're right, the front end of that Syracuse zone has been outstanding. Milligan, that in-between shot's got to be there. You got to make those against the zone.
No second chance opportunities so far for Pitt.
Jeter got his first couple of buckets in the first 2 minutes of the game that way, but none since. Milligan, again, way off the mark. Luther tries to save it. The ball already on the inline, and the Orange will have it.
And it's interesting, Tim, they've changed the way they're attacking that zone. They don't have anybody in the middle right now. And they've had artists in there in the past and Michael Young, but they're playing it kind of open on the perimeter.
This is a Pittsburgh team, as you mentioned, that had all those points against a solid defensive Virginia team. They have just not struggled at all this season, quite like they have today.
And this is a Pitt group that has played against this zone, 4 seniors.
And well.
Yeah.
They've won 5 in a row. Coming in, here's Gillen again. Cameron Johnson pulls down the rebound. Quick outlet to Artis. In transition, Artis misses the chippy. Leiden got in there to disrupt it a little.
That's the second rush up the floor they've missed the layup on.
Battle. Oh, the iron kind to Syracuse today.
Pitt's going to have to step on the gas to get to 20 points by half.
Nice pass there. Leiden will pick up the foul as Jeter, who has been somewhat active, playing with 2 fouls himself, will get to the free throw line.
There's that long play, and look up the floor. Battle doing a nice job. A little stop and go, as my partner would say.
Well, with the snow and ice out there, you had better be stopping before you go across the eastern seaboard this afternoon and tonight.
I didn't know if that opening shot was Syracuse or North Carolina. It could have been Shreveport, too.
It could have been, that's right. It's colder down there and a little more precipitation than we have up here. The girls will be happy that you mentioned the hometown. 36-10.
That's what I think, to kind of just slow the game down to get to the free throw line and chip away at this thing.
There's a strip. Nice job that time defensively by Milligan.
If you cut this lead in half somehow by coming into halftime, I think Pitt would feel like they've done a decent job clawing their way back in.
They have not had a field goal since the 13:50 mark, so it's been over 9 minutes since they've scored from the floor. Look at that. Quick hands by Gillen. Looking for the deflection. Only 7 on the shot clock. This kid, the transfer from Colorado State, Houston, Texas, making a difference.
You get the highest scoring duo in the ACC are in Young and Artis, and they have been held in check so far in this game.
Young has got to launch. There's Jeter again on the offensive boards. Rejected by Roberson again. Jeter again. Too strong and a foul. Boy, Roberson has been all over the place, and that foul will go against Andrew White, his second.
You can see how, both teams active in Syracuse getting up and making it hard to score, but you give that team that many opportunities, something you're going to score a basket or get to the line.
Great story from Kevin Stallings. Sheldon Jeter wanted to transfer from Vanderbilt, and his coach wouldn't let him, or at least at one particular case he wouldn't let him. When Stallings found out he was going to take the job, he was in Bradenton with his son, Jacob, who was in spring training. He called Jeter to let him know he was about to accept this job, and it could be awkward. And the young man, Jeter, said, "Coach, you don't know how many times I've told my parents I should have never left Vanderbilt." And they played beautifully together much of this season. As Battle gets that one to go again.
It's kind of like getting married twice to the same person, but they've handled it really well. But this afternoon has been a struggle.
Yes, it has. Battle got his hand on it. Now the floor not balanced, and Jeter's rejected again. White this time. Pittsburgh must feel like Syracuse has got extra bodies out there.
Tim, I was here for the St. John's game, and I can't believe how it's a 180-degree difference from that game to this game.
Roberson from the top of the game. Young the rebound. 6 blocks for Syracuse, and even more deflections. Young leaves it for Johnson. Well, that in-between shot from inside the key is just not falling for Pitt.
And most coaches say they would like to get a contested mid-range jump shot as opposed to a three-point shot. You look at the percentages, and it just, especially it's worked in Syracuse's favor from behind the three-point line.
And the Orange offense is getting even better as their defense propels White with another bucket.
Well, he's got fifth card up, and that's just a mismatch. And White has been to work from outside, went inside.
Wow, a missed dunk by Jeter. The iron downright rude to Pitt. That one was turned over. Jones, and that's a giveaway foul by Leiden. And they're going to count the basket. But a mistake of aggression by Leiden, his first. That's a happy crowd, believe me.
Back then, turn out for what was it?
Bro, this stuff is on fire. Somebody call fire department.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
Bro, this stuff is on fire.
Someone better call the fire department.
Yeah, you should call the fire department. This is your stuff.
More people save money by combining their home and auto with State Farm. Here to help life go right.
I won't be late.
Hey, Mom.
Yeah.
No kissing on the first date.
Life doesn't always stick to a plan, but with our investment expertise, we'll help you handle what's next. Financial guidance while you're mastering life. From Chase, so you can.
Syracuse leading 40-14, and John Gillen's been a big reason for it, Tim. He's been terrific from the outside, 6 points, already 8 assists in the first half, only 3 turnovers. So he was really taking control of this team and warned to that starting role.
Yeah, he had 11 in the game with Miami. He didn't look to score as often. And that last bucket by Pitt, which was after an Orange turnover, ended an 11-minute, 28-second drought from the floor. And really, Pittsburgh, every time they decided to take it to the rack, the ball was either deflected or downright rejected and led to open breaks for Syracuse.
Well, they've got 9 offensive rebounds, which in a half is terrific. But they've only got 4 second chance points. They're not converting.
At 31-8, I said they needed to warm up, or it could get ugly. At 40-15, it is. Shot clock under 5 for Gillen. When in doubt, pump it up. That one was rejected, and that's a shot clock violation. Jeter came out to get a hand on that one.
one of the best defensive stands that Pitt has made. You look at Syracuse's numbers today: 13% field goal defense, and the turnovers.
I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah, this is a Pitt team that averages 82 points a game coming into.
Artis pulls up. That's the shot. You've got to make those. Little teardrop that time from Jamel, the senior from Baltimore, Notre Dame prep.
They extend the defense now a little bit to take some time off the clock. Try to get the Syracuse out of some rhythm offensively.
Shot clock down to 5 again. Battle's got it. Not this time. Jeter pulls it down.
A little better defensively last couple times for the Panthers.
Young. Well, let's see if he and Artis can begin to warm up some before the break, and Boeheim quickly gets a timeout. Well, let's take a look now at our ACC headlines, and many have been made, notably what's been going on in the Triangle area. Grayson Allen did return, operating at the point. Mike Krzyzewski now having the successful back surgery yesterday. New coaches in the league. Jack Bassner got a win in his opener against North Carolina. Kevin Stallings, of course. And how about that? 7 teams, Mike, in the top 25.
Yeah, and then there are a couple that are right outside the top 25 as well. So the league is so deep this year, Tim. And coaches are talking about 8 and 10, 9 and 9 being good enough for the NCAA. But look at the teams that are there: Duke, Louisville, and Pastner comes out of the chute with UNC first, then Duke, then Louisville. Welcome to the league.
Our top 25 brought to you by the Honda dealers of the Carolinas. And having seen Notre Dame against Louisville the other night, Mike, while you were here, I can tell you the Irish are better than 23. They are better than 23.
Maybe one of the best passing teams in the country. Mike Bray just keeps on rolling along, doesn't he?
He really does. What a great find after Matt Doherty left after one season to go to North Carolina.
They didn't even make another call.
No,
because he was in the final mix the year before.
Thompson with 1 to shoot. Hello, how do you do?
What a bailout. It was pretty good defense again, but the long jump shot.
Young. Roberson over Jeter, and a foul underneath.
And I'm sure that this is going to be discussed by Jim Boeheim at halftime about the defensive glass. They're getting them to miss on the initial shot, but they've got to do a better job blocking out.
Thompson got the foul, his first. Coming up on the Hardy's halftime report, we'll discuss the college football bowl season, something I've always wanted to do with you, G-Man. And the Clemson-Alabama meeting coming up on Monday night. We'll do that, plus some highlights and stats. That's on the Hardy's halftime report. You have become a bit of an ACC football aficionado of late.
Well, I'm proud of the job that David Cutcliffe has done at my alma mater, and Dabo Sweeney is just, I think, one of the more underrated coaches, believe it or not, in the country. Back-to-back national title games for him.
Now, that old story about my football partner, Spencer Tillman, always says that we live in a world of images and impressions. And for those that don't believe that the image and impression of ACC football has changed in the last handful of years, and Dabo has a lot to do with that. Clemson's been around now for 6 years.
Yep.
It's not like this happened overnight. Waking up the echoes of that Danny Ford national title years ago. 42-21 and a quick foul spotted by Mike Eads. That one will go against Chris Jones. First foul on Jones.
Pitt still has a couple of fouls to give in this situation. Only 14 fouls for them.
And that's why they're going to give up yet another. Don't let them get the shot off. They were in that situation at the end of the game with Virginia and then had to go to overtime to get it done. They've had 2 already in this league, once against Notre Dame and then again against Virginia. It was a 4-1 home trip for them. Hill and a run. Not there. So the execution defensively worked that time for Pitt. But this half was all about the Orange D. They doubled up on the Panthers, 42-21 at the break here at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse.
Welcome to the Watch ESPN Halftime Show. I'm Kerry Joe. We'll get you out to the second half in a moment, but first, we're going to drop some college hoops knowledge on y'all, including how Braden Tolliver is going to Oxford, and the tallest fraternity in college hoops history. But we begin with the diaper dandies, the youngins, the rooks. Let's get to know the latest batch of freshman stars off the court with some freshman orientation.
I play the saxophone a little bit. Just a little bit. I've been playing since I was in about the 6th grade, middle school. I actually was in a class, and it was kind of mandatory. I took band, and that was my instrument that I played. I'm decent. I wouldn't say good.
Today's lesson is on point guards. UCLA's Lonzo Ball. Some people look, other people see. Lonzo Ball sees. He sees the floor, he sees everyone on the floor, and he can also make shots. He throws it like this, but you know what? Swish, it goes in. Lonzo Ball is like today's Jason Kidd. UCLA's got the real deal quicker. Class dismissed. Get out of my sight!
Man, I never seen anybody junkier than Nick Ward. Oh my goodness. I thought I was messy because I'm not the cleanest person, but Nick is on a whole nother level.
It's the opposite way around. My bed is made up, and my side of the room is like, nice and clean. His side got dirty clothes and everything like that, but he was a great roommate.
That's today's lesson. The Aaron Fox of Kentucky. He's got handles. He can pass. He can dribble. He can drop dives. Oh, my bad. Gotta work on my handles. The Aaron Fox reminds me of Brandon Jennings. Left-hander, runner, middle game, speed, Professor Greenberg. Class dismissed.
Who is your biggest role model?
My mom. Proud to say it. Before a game, she always texts me, be more vocal, be hungrier than I was last game, to be more of a leader, because it takes a team effort, to win. You have the power to, be what you want to be in life. No matter what the circumstances are, you always can reach your goals.
Pull out your textbooks. Today's lesson is on Markelle Fultz. He has an effortless swag on the court. Sometimes it looks like he's not even trying. He lulls you to sleep, then bam, he has 35 points in you. Markelle Fultz reminds me of Brandon Roy. Tall, long, guards that can shoot the ball from deep. And guess what? They make the game easy breezy. That's the course for today. Swag 101.
Playing for Michigan State. What does that mean to you?
It's an honor, man. It's an honor to be able to play. I was 12 years old when I was diagnosed with bacterial meningitis. I was in the hospital for about a week and a half. They said I wasn't going to be able to live, let alone be able to play basketball if I did live. So that next year I was able to play.
You cherish every day?
Every day. When I go practice and when I'm able to step on this main court and just to be on campus at Michigan State, because you look at all the history that comes behind this school. You look at the guys that came through, Mateen Cleaves, Draymond Green, Steve Smith, Magic Johnson, all these guys that, are great players, but also great leaders. Every day is a blessing to me to be able to put that jersey on my back.
Class, make sure you hurry up, sit down. Our next lesson, Malik Monk, University of Kentucky. He's a wildcat. That boy's wild. Once he gets you in the air a little bit on a head fake, you jump, you leave your feet, he's going to come to the rim, bah, game over. Highlight reel. How do you jump that high? Malik Monk reminds me of that sixth man like Lou Will. He can create some separation. That's all he needs with that sweet J. Splash. Time to go play some ball.
What was the biggest adjustment to a new country?
I was 10 years old when I came over to Florida. I just had to adjust to a lot of things. Like pretty much the weather, the food, I mean, people.
What's your favorite American food?
I like Chick-fil-A sometimes, not all the time. I didn't like the food because it was like kind of different from the kind of food I have back home in Nigeria.
Coming from Nigeria and moving here, what's something you miss about Nigeria?
Pretty much my family, most importantly, like, my mom, my brothers and sisters, they encouraged me to get my degree, making it to the league. That would definitely make my mom proud. I've been, trying to work hard and, just fulfill my dreams.
D. Nice Smith. NC State. D. Nice Smith. Is Dennis or D. Nice? When I think about Dennis Smith Jr., I think about somebody that can dance with the ball with some of the best of them. When he gets to the rim, he's not going to lay the ball in. He's going to hammer it on you. Why you dunk on him like that in public? Dennis Smith Jr. reminds me of Zach LaVine meets Kyle Lowry. That's a pretty scary combination, isn't it? I ain't got nothing else to say.
What would be the first song that would be on your playlist?
If I had it on shuffle, it would probably be Katy Perry.
What's your favorite Katy Perry song?
TGIF, but I can't sing it because I'm not a good singer.
What would you say to Katy Perry?
I would kind of speak, but then awkwardly, I kind of want to hug, because it's Katy Perry. Katy Perry, will you come to the game at Rucker Arena?
Harry John, 7'3" wingspan, 9-foot reach. The dude's got skills. He can handle it, shoot it, shake it, and has a middle game. Reminds me a little bit of Paul George. Those can shoot it, put it on the floor, versatile, can play more than one position. Class, all this will be on the final exam.
Duke hoping to cut down the nets at the end of the season. This year, the study of NCAA brackets has reached a new level of credibility, as Joe Lunardi's term bracketology has been added to the Oxford Dictionary. It's real now, yo!
ESPN bracketologist Joe Lunardi here with an update on my latest favorite book. It's the Dictionary. The Oxford English Dictionary, to be precise. This past September, the noun bracketology was officially added to that dictionary, joining more than 829,000 words, sentences, and compounds from across the English-speaking world. As Barry Manilow used to sing, it looks like we made it. Indeed, it's fair to say we've come a long way from scribbling out brackets on napkins or posting updates on websites far less credible than the likes of ESPN.com. Heck, making the dictionary is like becoming a scholar, a tenured professor, or in this case, a basketball savant. It wasn't easy reaching this new height. Hey, at my height, reaching anything isn't easy. But when the Oxford English Dictionary defines you, you have a new credibility that should make every member of the tournament selection committee quiver. And if that doesn't work, I'll just send autographed copies of my book. I hear it's a real page-turner.
Props, Joe. Not to be confused with Prop Joe, a character from The Wire. Easy mistake. Now, we've seen some star-studded teams in college basketball that could put on a show, but the 1983 Houston Cougars were among the original high flyers. Led by Akeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler, Houston ran through the competition until the NCAA title game. Here's a clip from the 30 for 30 film Phi Slamma Jamma on how they got their name.
That season, they were a must-see. I remember they were playing a Sunday afternoon game against the University of Pacific. I was alone trying to figure out what to write. I mean, what do I write about a 50-point blowout? I thought, well, let's see. They had 10 dunks. What would you call a dunking fraternity? Well, you got to start with Phi. Then, okay, Phi Gamma. Okay, Gamma. How about Slamma? And then Jamma goes with that because jams and slams are together. So it became Phi Slamma Jamma.
The great Thomas Bach has named this team, and what an appropriate name, Phi Slamma Jamma.
Next day, I got a phone call from Frank Schultz, who was an associate AD in sports. And he said, wow, that's unbelievable. Can we use that? I said, yeah, go ahead. Put it out there. Take it.
It happened overnight. The marketing department, the media, everyone read the column by Tommy Bunk, saw the name. Those guys just fell in love with the name Phi Slamma Jamma.
It wasn't any big marketing firm. It wasn't an advertising deal. It was almost like a movement that kind of grew.
Everybody grabbed a hold of this and said, this is what we are, Texas tallest fraternity. We're Phi Slamma Jamma.
A seemingly innocent newspaper column turned into a college basketball monster called Phi Slamma Jamma.
Phi Slamma Jamma made basketball cool.
They call it Phi Slamma Jamma.
They made University of Houston cool.
We became the city of Houston's team.
The fever around this town is just unbelievable. That's this university. It's just tremendous.
A collegiate team in a pro town.
Okay, we'll try to play it for you again.
Texas is a football state, traditionally. But in those Phi Slamma Jamma years, we flipped it and made it a basketball state.
That's going to do it for the Watch ESPN Halftime Show. Hope you feel enlightened. All right, let's get you out to the second half. Thanks for watching. I'm Kerry Chet.
Back then, turn out for what?
Geico has a long history of great savings and great service. Over 75 years.
Wait, 75 years? That is great.
Speaking of great, check out these hot riffs. You like Smash Mouth?
Take a closer look at Geico.
There's nothing quite as magical as staying at a Disney Resort hotel. So imagine complimentary rides to and from the park, even extra time with your family in the park. And right now, you can save up to 25% on rooms at select Walt Disney World Resort hotels. So if you're not staying here, just think what you might be missing.
Is being brought to you by Geico, saving people money for over 75 years. By your Carolina Ford dealers. By Gatorade, win from within. And by Bojangles, it's bow time.
That national championship won here back in 2003. Jim Boeheim, of course, inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame just 3 years afterwards. You see Jamel Artis, who's been leading this team, but today he and Michael Young have been snuffed out.
Look at those numbers, Sim, and that's pretty amazing. 2 of 13 combined, only 6 points. Now, this is the highest scoring duo in the ACC, both of them averaging over 20 points a game.
Roberson played well enough in the first half for Boeheim to warrant a starting nod in the second over Torian Thompson.
Well, Thompson only played 7 minutes in that first half. They only played 6 guys. 3 of their starters played 20 minutes.
Young with an offensive board and a putback.
Good start. And again, you can't get overwhelmed by the score. You have to get in the mode right now, Tim, of playing this game in 4-minute increments and trying to win each of those 4 minutes.
Gillen with 13 points, 5 of 7 from the floor, 3 steals in the game, too. Shot clock under 10. Paddle. Step back. Count.
Again, but it's you really can't fault the defense of Sheldon Jeter that time. And this Syracuse offense, especially from the perimeter, has been outstanding.
That dump down was a little bit too far away, but the loose ball taken by Artis can't get it to go. Again, just running into orange roadblocks in the lane. That wing jumper falls for Artis over Leiden that time.
Pitt's defense got a little bit better last 2 minutes of that first half. Let's see if there's a little bit of carryover, and this little fake press is taking some time off the clock.
Much needed perimeter jumper for Artis there. The lead to 18.
Push inside, yeah.
Well, was that Jeter? I think it may have been, and if it is, that's 3 on him. Nope, it's going to go against Cameron Johnson instead.
As far, and then we see that jump shot by Battle. He got his defender going to the basket, and then the step back creates some separation.
Gillen, the trigger in the inbounds. Pitt doing a nice job of keeping the ball out of Leiden's hands in this sequence. That may be the key. Out of bounds off of Gillen.
They started off the game by trying to post him up, and they spent that whole possession trying to get the ball inside and wound up getting a turnover. Sometimes you have to go away from what you're looking at and see who else is open.
Cameron Johnson, that one goes crying. Nice hustle play by Jeter. Artis pumps again. Nothing but nylon. And the lead down to 15.
See, and this is these two guys are too good scorers to keep that down like they did in the first half. I get a little edgy over there on the sideline.
Again, keep your eyes on Cameron Johnson. Again, got a little too physical that time on Leiden and picked up the foul.
Well, he's had an issue. He leads them in personal fouls. Tim, he's been disqualified 3 times this year already. And he's a guy they need on the floor. He's a double-figure scorer for them.
Leiden got a quick double there. Got it out to Gillen.
And now that's what you got to do. You have to make them pay. Artis was the hot guy. He came in on the double team, and Gillen was wide open.
47 to 29. Jones Young. Cameron Johnson on the deck for Pitt. That's too strong, and it's run down by Gillen. Leiden with a baseball pass. Retrieved by Thompson. Our Battle, I beg your pardon.
That was a heck of an athletic play just to make that catch.
Yes, it was. Roberson with a dump down to Leiden. And again, you see how quickly the Pitt defense converged. Shot clock now down to 8. White for 3.
And see, that's a play that Pitt is going to switch, but the switch occurred too late, and he had a great look at the shot.
Young. You know, Mike, you watch Pittsburgh and you feel like, okay, offensively, they can get on track, but I don't know that they can get enough stops against Syracuse to climb back to within single digits.
Yeah, you give this Syracuse team, especially if they get early success in shooting the basketball first 10 minutes of the game, it usually carries through for them.
Amazing how much better a team can be defensively when they play well early on the offensive end. White. Look at Roberson. Just keep it locked there.
He was 1-on-4 inside and was able to come up with the offensive rebound.
And that was a Stacey Augman-esque plastic man can recycle for the Orange. Leiden a blow by. Jones retrieves it for Pitt.
He did against Miami. He looked to be more aggressive in the second half. And not just a jump shooter. He could put the ball on the deck.
Great pass. Into Jeter, count it, and a foul. Leiden will get it.
Well, if Pitt had started the game this way, we'd be right in the middle of something. But they're carving their way back into him.
That is the third on Tyler Leiden. So, some room for concern in the land of the Orange.
Back then,
The difference between you and me, I tell it like it is, you tell it how it might be.
That damn Max Kelvin, I know he's going to be smiling tomorrow.
They are frequently a laughing stock.
And oh, by the way, had the temerity of the unmitigated gall to sit up there and bloviate about this stuff, and you ain't even in first place. Wow! Shut the hell up!
Catch those vapors, Stephen A.
The debate starts here. First Take, now on ESPN, weekdays at 10.
Oh, just stop it!
And the rematch is now set. Let's get it on.
The National Championship, Clemson, Alabama, tonight at 8 on ESPN.
Pitt chipping away at the lead a little bit, lose down 50-33. And these two guys, we showed you this graphic at the open of the second half, and they've stepped up since that time. A little more involved in the offense. Michael Young finding his range, getting on the offensive glass to start, and then the little mid-range jumper inside that zone. And Jamel Artis finding his range from behind the three-point line, Tim. It's got to continue to happen for Pitt to have any kind of chance to get back in this ballgame.
Well, and speaking of Artis, he'd been lighting it up. Mike, coming into this game in the ACC, he was shooting 73% from downtown. He was 11-15 in conference play, in double figures in 17 consecutive games. That's tied for second longest in any active streak. And they had, between he and Young, they had led Pitt in scoring in 42 of their last 48 games.
He had 29 in that game against Virginia, his last 6 threes.
Well, that one was swatted away. Gillen had that one deflected on the way up. It's out of bounds off of Pittsburgh. Syracuse will control it. Kevin Stallings, he did a marvelous job in his time at Vanderbilt, Illinois State. Prior to that, going to cut his teeth in the Carolina system is Leiden. Oh, the bank is open on Saturday in Syracuse. I don't know that he wanted that with the jump hook, but he got it to go.
He seems to prefer that left block. I asked him before the game, and he said he really hadn't thought about it, but he works a little bit better, I think, on that side when he gets his right hand to the middle.
52-33. 5.5 gone in the second. Ooh, the iron kind to Gillen.
Well, you talked about, Tim, Pitt can't trade baskets at this point. Their offenses seem to have gotten better, but they really haven't done anything on the other end of the floor.
Young stepping back this time. And out they go. Gillen, beautiful pass. And it leads to a foul given up by Jones. It was a little low, but Leiden believes he should have controlled it. He's talking to John about it now.
Well, I think initially Jim Boeheim was he was mad at Gillen. And then Leiden went over and said, Coach, it was my fault. I should have caught it. And if you're a big guy, you got to stick up for your point guard and keep feeding the ball.
Feed and family, little fella. I'm so glad you transferred. Beautiful pass. How about that look? How about that time drop by Leiden right to Roberson?
I'll tell you what, this kid's got quite a future, and you touched on it, and he's only a sophomore, Tim.
It's amazing.
Just think about, his progression through this year and next year.
Jones with that scoop to the hoop, not to be. Another dunk miss, but this one by Young. And a foul as Artis takes it right into the rack again. Roberson comes over and picks up the foul.
There's that look, and Michael Young just got caught with his back to the basketball, and anytime your eyes are wandering, you just back cut right to the rim. What a find. And that's because of Leiden's size, he can make that pass over the top of people.
Had a wonderful conversation yesterday, you and I, with a man that makes his way down here all the time for Syracuse games, Ray Jones, who's on that staff with Bill Foster. He lives here in central New York, and he's commenting on Leiden and his upbringing. And he said, this young man wants to make it to the next level so he can buy himself a home in Wyoming and hunt and fish. He's a country boy from central New York.
Yeah, pretty simple needs. And I think he's going to have the opportunity to buy that house.
Yes, I do. I do too. I don't think there's any question. He will be dangerous as soon as he knows how great he can be. And I think he's in the process of figuring that out. Battle. That was deflected by Jeter. Really good defensive play there.
Yeah, nice job moving his feet, keeping him in front, those long arms.
Gillen will get the block.
I think this is the other way that Pitt needs to slow this game down. They need to attack the basket. They need to get to the free throw line. See if they extend their defense a little bit again.
In a lot of ways, Mike, the MO of this Pitt team early on was that Artis and Young were really enjoying, the freedom of the Kevin Stallings offense. But there's a responsibility to that freedom that Pittsburgh's still trying to figure out.
And then they've been in a position early against some non-conference opponents where they had big leads and gave them up.
Oh, a nice fine battle. Retrieved that one, saved it for Syracuse. White. Tapped out by Roberson. Gillen killing it.
That was from the J and Jim Boeheim court, way outside.
Roberson again, the key player in that sequence.
That's the value of keeping the ball alive and tapping it back.
Cameron Johnson answers with a tray. Young man from Our Lady of the Sacred Heart had 16 against Virginia with 8 boards. He played big the other night.
He's got a beautiful stroke, Tim, too. It was just a beautiful shot to watch.
Gillen again. And that foul will go against Roberson. And I'm a little upset with Mike Eads over that one. It will go the other way.
And, I get it. You made your last one, but I think for Gillen, that was an ill-advised three. It was a little earlier in the shot clock. Again, pretty deep. I think Jim would say, all right, you got your three. I think he'd like them to run the offense a little bit.
Johnson sets up again. Wyden clears it.
2 free throw attempts in the game so far for Syracuse. They've been shooting the ball so well.
Gillen's in one of those zones where he thinks every time he puts it up, it's going through. Same thing with White, really. Wyden. He misread that time the move of Gillen. Little mix-up between those two. So often, just keeping the ball alive will help you. Watch what Roberson does. Presence of mind. And Gillen with another dagger at the dome.
What is turned up? NBA Saturday Prime Time.
A tremendous evening for this Clemson offense. The Tide defense rolls again.
The National Championship presented by AT&T, Clemson, Alabama, tonight at 8 on ESPN.
If you're a competitor, you look forward to that challenge. But also, if you're a rational thinker, you know that you're going to have your hands full every night that you play. And this league is full of great coaches. It's full of great players. It's full of great fan bases. And to have the opportunity to be a part of it is something that I look so forward to and really appreciate the privilege of having that opportunity.
That's our PNC Bank Coach's Insight. 17 years and the winningest coach in the history of Vanderbilt University in those years.
Well, and, it's not like he hasn't been prepared playing in the SEC to come into this conference, especially in the division they were playing in.
No question.
So, he's primed and ready.
Gillen with another takeaway. He has created havoc in the Pitt backcourt with his defensive presence today. 4 steals for him. White.
Those threes aren't dropping like they did in the first half, and so I think Syracuse can't fall in love with the jump shot right now.
Artist, that step-in 3 won't go.
Pitt's in a different position. They've got to dig themselves out of a deep hole.
They had won 5 in a row, including in the ACC tournament last year when Syracuse made a frenetic run at them late, only to lose by 1. It's as if Syracuse is taking out their frustration of 5 consecutive losses in one day. Leiden's got to put it up. Johnson quickly Pitt in transition, but Syracuse gets back. Jones, a little teardrop that falls.
Yeah, he's gone away from the three-point shot, but he's got some good size to him, Tim, and he can get in against guards and use that, shoot a little floater.
Averaging just under 7 a game. As you mentioned, they've been struggling from downtown. They've got other guys that can hit threes. He's an athletic player.
Andrew White's been quiet so far.
Barely just decided to wake up for you. It's as if he got the cue. I don't know if he's got an earpiece or no.
Appreciate him listening to our broadcast.
Yeah, why not? 63-41. Johnson can't connect. Luther has it knocked away by Roberson. Out of bounds to Pitt. Michael Young checks back into the game. There you see the first 5 ACC games and what's in store for him. Louisville next. I'll have that game on Tuesday night. Look forward to bringing it to you. And then a little bit of a break before playing Miami. Welcome to the ACC. 63-41.
The national championship is here.
Touchdown. A tremendous evening for this Clemson offense. Defense rolls again. The rematch is now set. Let's get it over.
The national championship presented by AT&T, Clemson, Alabama. Tonight at 8 on ESPN. And streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. The debate starts here. First Take, now on ESPN, weekdays at 10.
Now for 35 years, bringing you ACC basketball, streaming live on the ACC.com and our official ACC mobile app. Today's coverage is also being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network. We welcome the nearly 1 million men and women of the U.S. Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marines stationed around the globe in 175 countries and on the high seas. Proud to have you with us. Thanks for all that you do to enable us to have the privilege of covering events like this at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. Tim Brando, Mike Jaminski, 9:20 and counting remaining. It's been all Syracuse today. Jones goes teardrop again. Can't get it to go, but on the putback, there's a push. It'll go the other way. Luther, pretty physical in there. He and Michael Young both. Foul goes against Young, his second.
Yeah, they've really been pounding the offensive glass, and but that time a little too aggressive. And now Kevin Stallings really extending defense all the way down the floor.
A lot of Carolina principles to what Kevin does. Spent a lot of time coming up with Roy Williams at Kansas. And, of course, you know him well as a player when he was at Purdue, part of that Joe Barry Carroll team back in 1980 that made it to the Final Four.
I hate you like poison. I know you were going to bring that up at some point in time. Thank you very much. My last game.
Yes, Andrew White answers the bell. I thought he was... In our conversation with Kevin today, he was very kind to you by not bringing too much up about that particular regional final.
That's because I brought it up first. I said we'd have to step outside if he said it.
Hardest gets the 3 to go. Well, I've seen you in such places. So let's say, for instance, Lexington, Kentucky, and a few other spots.
Well, that's where that game happened.
Yeah, that's right.
Syracuse team's going to get a little conservative, run some clock.
Gillen. Not this time. Long rebound to Jones off the deck.
I thought they were going to run some sort of high pick and roll action with Roberson.
Luther had it knocked away by Roberson again. That kid's hands and arms everywhere. 65-44 our score. Back after these words from your local ACC stations.
Back then, turn out for what was a question. I think I found the answer. NBA Saturday Prime Time. The streak is unmissable game. Turn down for basketball.
The difference between you and me, I tell it like it is, you tell it how it might be.
Hey, that damn Max coming. I know he's gonna be smiling tomorrow.
Catch those vapors, Stephen A.
The debate starts here. First Take, now on ESPN, weekdays at 10.
Donovan Mitchell at number 9, Louisville. Others will see number 21, Virginia Tech travel to Tallahassee to face Wayne Bacon, and number 12, Florida State. Visit the ACC.com/ACC Network. And remember that select ACC Network games are streamed live for free on the official ACC mobile app. And boy, Wayne Bacon, you talk about a story. He's kind of taken the league and Tallahassee by storm.
Well, and Tim, that team is deep. They're athletic. They defend. And the big thing this year, they can score.
Yeah, they got shooters.
They can put points up, and they've got a go-to guy in Bacon. So this, even at number 12, they're kind of flying under the radar.
Yeah, absolutely they are.
But they're going to be dangerous.
They've always been athletic, and Leonard Hamilton's always been a good defensive coach. Ball out of bounds, and again, Syracuse, just nothing easy coming in the painted area. They created turnover after turnover.
The zone, it's really not designed to take the ball away. But even with that, I think that Syracuse has to give themselves a little more time at the end of the clock to run a play, and they get a turnover.
Yeah.
Actually, the referee pointed the wrong way right in front of Jim Boeheim, and he reminded him of no, wrong direction.
Jim had that Boeheim look, right? He gave it to him, and right away Casil said, "Oh no, I'm sorry. It was going this way." Gillen with the offhand, not theirs. Pulled down by Young. Quick outlet to Cameron Johnson. Strong move by Johnson there, and that one was pretty well defended by Tyus Battle. He didn't give up on the play.
Well, and that's one of the few in transition points they've made. They've blown some layups and some dunks as well.
Granted, there were 3 outstanding players on this Syracuse team a year ago. A lot of scoring. Gillen knocks down another trade. They had Benajay, Cooney, and Richardson. But you remember what the storyline of that team last year about this time of year was? And yet they made it all the way to the Final Four. And there you see Johnson taking it inside, and his foul.
But the difference there, Tim, was the continuity, and I had talked about it before. They had the same starting lineup for every game last year.
Right.
The last time that happened, 2003, when they won the national championship.
Yeah, and it was Leiden picks up, by the way, his 4th. He's going to give a little time, and Jim Boeheim's going to talk to Mike Eads a bit as Torian Thompson checks in for him after picking up his 4th foul. Something about the 72-year-old head coach, he usually figures things out. He just does.
But he doesn't like. He likes to know what he has, and he usually does going into the season. He's really had to tinker, but I think now he feels comfortable that he's found.
Are you a little surprised we haven't seen Frank Howard, knowing his ceiling for success, and what they had been doing before the Miami game was playing both he and Gillen at the point?
Yeah, and I think Jim Boeheim just made a decision that he needed White out on the floor, and Howard only played 1 minute against Miami.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he's given up on him yet, but I think for continuity's sake now.
Well, and you gotta keep him in it too. As part of it is Howard's responsibility to not get frustrated.
Oh, alley-oop! Wake up the echoes of Sherman Douglas and Coleman. Beautiful alley-oop there, perfectly placed. And Young is fouled. Taking it in to Torian Thompson, who picks up the foul.
Well, we talked about McGillen. He's been scoring. He's been doing it all. And how about this? He saw the defense pull up, and that was a beautiful feed to Roberson. And those are the types of plays that he gets his offense off of, Tim. Offensive rebounds and penetration and dunks.
Okay, Sherman used to throw them up from three-point range and let Derek go get them, but still, that was beautifully timed by both. The sprinter speed, Mike, that Gillen brings is going to help this team a lot in transition.
Well, that's what they did against Miami is his second game now, double-figure assists. He's got 10 in this game already. But the speed that he can advance the ball with allows them to get into their offense a little bit more quickly.
A run and jump coming from Pitt, challenging him to get it over the timeline. The capacity crowd at the Carrier Dome need not worry about Blue Birds today. Thompson tried to save it, couldn't. Jeter with the outlet to Artis. He goes reversal and one coming.
You know, in that situation, you either let it go or make sure he doesn't make the basket. You know, don't give him a three-point play opportunity with the clock not running. You know, that's just that's a big-time move right there. Artis absorbing the contact and finishing.
Andrew White, the foul, his third. Can't get the old-fashioned three-point play.
Even on a miss, the Pitt still in that all-out double team.
We got some perspiration on the floor from when Cameron Johnson hit the deck. He was trying to induce a player control foul. It didn't come. There was a no call. He hit the deck, and then Mike Eads, after seeing him slip trying to get up, alertly decided to call an official timeout. Those are the games coming up in your specific area along the ACC network. Check your local listings for the game that you're getting.
I think this is a huge game for Louisville.
Big time.
They're the only winless team in the conference right now, 0-2.
You know, the schedule makers were not as kind, perhaps, as they could have been. They had that non-conference game with Kentucky and then followed that up with Virginia. Talk about contrasting styles. Then had to go on the road to Notre Dame. White, out there. And that foul will go against Torian Thompson, the freshman from New York out of Brewster Academy, and we're in the one in the bonus.
Yeah, so that works to Pitt's advantage right now. So it took them this long to get there, but they're going to be shooting free throws for the rest of the game.
Well, that may slow down the near record time of our tilt. Played some quick games here at Syracuse. You've been here so long, I think you're paying taxes.
You know, when people recognize you at the checkout counter or at Rite Aid, that you've been here a few times.
Hey, Mike, good to see you. How you been? You were here in the preseason for a number of games, too, so you've seen quite a lot of the Orange. You could say the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today, the very good of this Syracuse team.
I just you can't imagine the difference between the St. John's game and this game. I mean, that was just a nightmare.
Artis picked up that foul, his first.
And that's going to be two more personal fouls until Syracuse gets into the penalty, so they have one more to waste. Almost over and back.
One of the things that you really notice, Mike, is certainly true for Boeheim today, but it's true, I think, across the entire ACC. The minutes are really getting hard for any of the benches around this conference. 6, 7 guys playing on a lot of teams right now. Wake up the echoes of Frank McGuire.
Well, that's what I said, that Florida State could be so dangerous because of the depth that they have and the bodies they can run out and just wear people down. This has just been a smothering zone.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Artis has got to believe they've got 7 guys on the floor. It's almost illegal to think that defense could be that good today, but it has been.
NBA Saturday Prime Time. Turn down the basketball. the national championship. Tonight at 8 on ESPN.
In the way he not only shot the basketball, but distributed it as well. 12 of his 15 field goal attempts to him have been threes. He's knocked down 6 of them, and he has just been terrific from behind the arc. And also 10 assists to go with only 4 turnovers.
Here's how good the Syracuse D, though, has been. Gillen's offense has been outstanding. There you see a double-double for him in points and assists. But in football, these two teams put on one of the great epic offensive showcases of the college football season. Look at that. 137 points in that football game. 76-61 Pitt. Connor and company winning it for the Panthers. And they call it basketball on grass now. And it certainly was that day. Dino Babers,
you're not going to say that the football players are going to have the bragging rights with the basketball team.
Gillen, beautiful feed to Torian Thompson. Out there, pulled down by Michael Young. Under 3 minutes left now, and there's a foul really not needed by Tyus Battle.
Yeah, and, Jim Boeheim is just up saying, look, just defend without fouling. And, that's because that just plays into Pitt's hands and stopping the clock and slowing the game down. And he's going to come back in with Tyler Lydney with those 4 personal fouls. It's going to be a little teaching session over on the sideline with his freshmen, who they really love. They think Torian Thompson, there's a huge upside to this young man,
without a doubt. You know, he didn't play a heck of a lot in that game you had with Miami. He only played a few minutes, got some early fouls.
And Roberson really
asserted himself.
Yeah, and he played much more. They're a better defensive team with him on the floor.
Double team, a battle. They got to work to get it across the line and done. Pittsburgh gets the turnover. Trying to scramble the game up here in the closing moments.
Now, remember the rule change. If you're dribbling the ball, there is no 5-second count. But if you're holding it, there is.
I don't know that all of the players, when they're in the midst of being trapped, understand that or feel that change. Jones just could not corral that pass from Jeter. Wyden clears it. And a reach-in foul.
Still only 16 fouls. So Syracuse, let's see now if Pitt goes to the foul game.
2 fouls on Jones. Yeah, the only way really to extend the game is to get Syracuse on the line. They are 2 of 2 for the entire game at the free throw line, the Cuse. They've done their damage from the floor. Well, he induced that foul from Wilson. Second foul on Damon Wilson.
Well, that was the other upgrade. I mean, you were talking about Howard. He was really struggling from the floor and only 59% from the free throw line. And, Gillen at least 71%. So you get an upgrade there with a guy who's going to have the ball in his hands at the end of the game.
Another one of those many quotes that makes you go, oh. As you see Howard along the sidelines. Taking it all in, sitting next to Adrian Autry, part of that staff with Mike Hopkins, Jerry McNamara. Been together for such a long time. Gillen's quote was, when he left Colorado State to come to Syracuse, I hate the snow. Young with a putback.
Obviously, he hasn't watched the Weather Channel much.
He may be the one to point out, have you seen how bad it looks today along the eastern seaboard? But I'm enjoying the Carrier Dome, where it's nice and dry. 2:03 remaining.
NBA Saturday Prime Time. Basketball.
So many wonderful spots to come up. Never fail to have a wonderful time here. I mean, we did last night, by the way. We enjoyed ourselves with the voice of Syracuse, Matt Park. One of the nice young guys in the profession. And then we also got to see Bill Hillgrove and your idol, Dick Grote, whose jersey was retired before yours at Duke.
Yeah, and Ray Jones, who was an assistant, was with us at dinner as well, with my teams back in the late 70s.
A lot of fun.
I've enjoyed my cabana poolside here during my stay in Syracuse.
We'll stop over to Joy's Ristorante. Shot clock winding down with the man you want it to have. And that's why, right there. Gillen is just a double-double all day long in Central New York today. Man has been incredible at the point.
Again, do you think Jim Boeheim has found his rotation and his lineup?
I believe he did. Young gets the roll. This score is actually going to look a little bit better than it did cosmetically for the better part of 40 minutes here at the Carrier Dome today. Stallings' team has fought hard, and I think defensively they played a little better in the second half.
Yeah, I like this way, just the aggressiveness and what that drive sets up the whole play, because the defense has to step up behind it, and this is just two lobs to wide open guys, and Roberson and Leiden.
Well, you look at the schedules in this conference, Mike, and you simply just cannot afford to lose many at home. You might get away with one, possibly two, but after that, you better take care of business.
Well, that's why I saw the urgency in this team in that Miami game.
Yes,
I mean, that was I hate to say must win so early in the year, but
I think today's game was huge for this program. I do. There's a free ball that goes for Jamel Artis. I mean, if you look at who they still got to play, and granted, most of the difficult games against the marquee teams for Syracuse are played in this building, they could not afford to lose to Pitt today. And they had lost 5 in a row coming in against the Panthers program. The 35th anniversary of Raycom Sports. The tournament a season ago, Pitt faced off with the Qs, trailing by 12 with 4 minutes remaining. The Orange staged a fantastic comeback. They tied the game against Jamie Dixon's club with a Michael Beneget breakaway dunk, but then James Robinson put Pitt on his back with time running out, and ultimately Trevor Cooney missed the game-winning shot, and Pittsburgh beat Syracuse 72-71.
And here's the key thing we talked about, and there's a series right now, leading 5-2 since joining the ACC, but we talked about all the guys that were back for Pitt, but one guy wasn't, James Robinson, the point guard for 4 years for Jamie Dixon.
Right.
And they, because of that, Artis has had to play point forward for this team.
And that transition showed up today. A lot of times guards will tell you, I hate playing guys that can get under me. And really that's what Gillen did today. He played underneath Artis and made it difficult for him.
I got news for him. At 6'7", every point guard in this league is going to be able to get underneath.
No question. Panthers are out of timeouts now. Syracuse looking to play some keep away, and a quick foul given up by Young. That's 3 on him.
Both of these teams now have an extended schedule of games away from home facing them.
That's right.
I believe Pitt has 6 of their next 9 on the road. Then it turns in their favor, but that's going to be a tough stretch.
I'll see them at the Young Center early next week. And as you mentioned, they'll be playing a team that's desperate for a conference win at home. As good as Louisville is, and they're really good, they're 0-2 in ACC play.
Well, and how about the balanced scoring for Syracuse in this game? I mean, Gillen White, you got your backcourt with 20 each, and then, Battle 15, Leiden 13. And Leiden really has not hunted his offense that much today.
He succumbed to it. He just doesn't. I mean, that's just not who he is. Artis was looking for a foul but didn't get it. And the Orange will play keep away yet again, and it looks as though Pitt will let them do so. And this Carrier Dome crowd rises to its feet. Jim Boeheim knew he had to get this game out of the way and get a W, and his team really did answer the bell. And Young says, now finally a 3-ball goes through for me. 77-66 will be our final, and it was a much more authoritative victory than that, really, for Boeheim's squad. He gets his 10th victory of the season, notably his second in the ACC. Mike and I will be back to wrap it up from the Carrier Dome after this.
We're going to need one big question.